Sorry, I'm just going to get the clicker so I have the presentation up as well. Good evening, everybody. My name is Elena Boateng. I am an assistant producer and production manager at BBC Studios, specifically within the BBC Factual Podcast unit. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about podcasts today. So I'm really grateful for the West London Digital Creative Event. West London is such a hub of tech and media bodies, and it's amazing to have this space to engage and connect with one another. And I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to speak today. I'm quite glad that Prima has left her bell at home. I'm like 8 minutes, oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to rattle through everything, but please bear with me. I'm actually recovering from a cold as well, so bear with me if I go into a coughing fit. But essentially, here is a slide of some of the stuff that we produce. Oh, too soon. At the Factual Podcast unit. By show of hands, has anybody listened to any of these titles? Okay. Oh, we have one listener. I'm so grateful. What have you listened to? That's exciting. So at BBC Studios Factual Podcast Unit, we make a plethora of different types of podcasts, all within the kind of premium narrative space that range from sports through to history, like Killing Victoria, as well as true crime as well. And we have won a number of awards that we're very proud of. And yeah, we continue to grow, which has been really, really exciting. So I'm just going to kind of share with you a bit about my career journey, how I've got to this point of working in audio. But I also want to share a bit about the kind of past, present, and future of the podcast medium as well. So I'll start with my journey. So I went to university. I studied international business with Spanish. I always knew that I wanted to work in media, but I just didn't quite know how to get into the industry. I didn't really understand the industry either. I genuinely thought everybody was either a presenter or a producer. So I literally remember the summer after I graduated, I Googled how to get a job in the media industry. And the first organization that came up was Mama Youth Project. And the founder, Bob, is actually in the audience today, which is super exciting. Yes, a round of applause for Bob. It's an absolutely exceptional organization that helps disadvantaged young people get into the media industry by making a TV show for Sky within 3 months. And so this was an amazing opportunity. And the only role that was left was the trainee production coordinator role. So this is when I first learned that actually there's people that come up with the ideas, and there's people that bring these ideas to life that are in the kind of logistical and operations capacities within media. And as someone who had absolutely loved her production management, her project management modules at university, I was like, this is amazing. I can kind of fuse my passion with project management too. So I did that. It was an absolutely phenomenal experience. And they had wonderful connections with the BBC and the One Show. So I ended up securing a job with the One Show after my placement with Mama Youth Project. That was a 6-month contract that has turned into a 10-year career at the BBC, which has been very rewarding. I've had an opportunity to climb up the ranks and work across such incredible content, from Top Gear to David Attenborough, Extinction, The Facts, some Greta Thunberg documentaries and so forth as well. So after working on a number of high-profile series, I then started to really gain an interest in the digital mediums and audio, and I really wanted to move into more storytelling. So right place, right time, I was able to join the BBC Factual Podcast unit and negotiate a hybrid role in its genesis in around 2021. So that kind of brings me to the point in my career where I'm in audio, which I can actually very confidently say is my favorite moment in my career thus far. Last year, I had the absolute privilege of telling the story of the highest ranking Black female in the army at the end of World War II, Charity Adams, for our podcast, History Secret Heroes. It is hosted by the formidable Helena Bonham Carter, and it basically tells the story of unsung heroes from World War II. I'd love to share a 30-minute trailer clip with you guys today.
I'm Helena Bonham Carter, the BBC Radio 4. This is History's Secret Heroes.
She received a brown envelope that says, "Do not open it until you get on the plane."
A series of rarely heard tales from World War II.
They knew they were going to be caught, and actually that was part of the plan.
Unsung heroes, acts of resistance, deception, and courage.
That is a morning that is seared into my memory. I will never be able to forget the terror of that morning.
Subscribe to History's Secret Heroes wherever you get your podcasts.
Amazing. So that's History's Secret Heroes. Please do listen wherever you get your podcasts. And the reason why I love podcasting is just like reading, it allows us to still use our imaginations. And what people don't realize is just how actually new this medium is. It's thought that it was only in around 2005 that most people started to know what a podcast was. In addition to this, it's thought that the actual name podcasting emerged in 2004 when Ben Hammerly, a British journalist writing for The Guardian, suggested the name podcasting. So as you can see, this is genuinely still an emerging medium. And if we are to look at just where we find ourselves in that medium today, a very recent survey by Raja, which is the Radio Joint Audience Research Limited company, they did a survey in autumn of 2023, and they said that the majority of people that listen to podcasts listen to it while working or studying. By show of hands, is that true to anyone in this room? Yeah, definitely. It's one of those mediums that is great because you can kind of multitask with it. In terms of in the UK market, the highest percentage age-wise that listen to podcasts are 15 to 34-year-olds with 28%, but it's very closely followed up by the medium of 35 to 54-year-olds at 26%. Since 2017, the hours in millions that people have been listening to podcasts has grown exponentially, as you can see, such that in 2023, it was 90 million hours in 2023 alone. It's thought that 63% of podcast listeners listen to more than half of the episode they download, 72% listen to all of it. So, as you can see, podcasting is a medium that simply cannot be ignored. I make premium podcasts, and we only call them premium because we tell high-profile stories, we work with A-list celebrities, we infuse composition and sound design to make these kind of really immersive sound experiences for you with podcasts. But what is really beautiful about this medium is that anyone can make a podcast. So we could record me doing this talk today, someone could whip out their iPhone, put on the voice memo app, we could chuck that onto a hosting platform and it could be distributed around the world in moments. You wouldn't believe that the majority of the interviews that we record remotely for our premium podcast are actually on Zoom. So all of the interviews that I did for Charity Adams, including with her son, he was in the US, we did that on Zoom. That was the audio we captured and used, and that's what's being distributed around the world. So what would I say? Well, if you're a business in here today, I would say that why not consider a branded podcast? It's thought to be one of the best ways to build awareness, identity with your audience, establish loyalty, and address potential customers. If you're a student and you're looking to get into the media industry, why not create your own podcast to show your passion and your proactivity for creativity? I love when I see these kinds of things when I'm recruiting. If there's a topic that you're passionate about, why not make a podcast to talk around it? As a Christian woman back in 2017, I really wanted there to be a podcast space where I, as a millennial Christian, could speak about millennial matters from like finances to friendships and parenting from a Christian perspective. So I pitched the podcast to the biggest Christian radio station in the UK and was able to build an amazing community through that. If you have a podcast idea as well, please do speak to me. If you have a podcast idea that you think would work quite well for the BBC, we're always looking for new and fresh ideas. I read a quote the other day that said, in the past 20 years, it's become easier to make a podcast than it is to vote in certain places. My question to you then is, what would you like to do with that opportunity today? I'm so grateful to be in this West London network. Thank you so much for listening to my journey today.